morning, everybody, and welcome to the August 1st special meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Ossining. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember DeTore,
Present.
Councilmember Jeffrey,
Present.
Councilmember Wilshire,
Present.
and Supervisor Levenberg.
Present.
Do we have any announcements?
Just a couple of brief announcements. I want to thank our incredible staff in the supervisor office for really working so hard last week to get 3 CFA grants in. We had a joint one with the Village of Ossining to look at an urban circulator project, basically seeing if we could find a way for a trolley or a jitney to travel from the various nodes, transportation nodes, to business areas and residential areas, and we're very excited about that and working with the village. We also applied for a grant to help us fund additional fixes to the cottage at Dale Cemetery. And finally, working with Pace Land Use Law Center, we applied for a grant to infuse health planning into our strategies for planning and zoning. So we're very excited about getting those grants in, and also Victoria Caffarelli in my office just before she left for vacation today. She that we're going to work on a little bit more on today, and then we'll get final in for the Cedar Lane Park upgrades through that we've gotten a grant from Senator Carlucci, as well as hopefully finalizing all of the upgrades for the spray park to have the water recirculate. So that's what we're going to be talking a little bit about today in our board resolutions. We have a concert this Saturday night, a little bit different from usual because we have the Firemen's Parade on Friday night. So hopefully everybody will be out for the Firemen's Parade Friday night. I'm not sure I know exactly what the timing is. Maybe
It begins at 7 p.m. with step off from Callum Avenue, and we'll go down.
7 p.m. is step off?
Yes.
Okay, so 7 p.m. step off from Callum Avenue, and then that's Friday night. And then it goes all the way down to the waterfront, but I think there's a staging area
It's a reviewing stand that's going to be at one of the firehouses on
on Main Street, right, usually.
Post office.
Right, okay, from Steamer Company,
Yes.
right? Yeah, so from Steamer Company, and then everybody will go down, all the way down the waterfront. And then on Saturday night, we have the Mike Risco Band, and they're going to be starting at 7 p.m. at Engle Park at the stage at the waterfront, and we expect a great turnout and fantastic weather because so far so good for that, and we're very excited to have them back this year. So that is it for my announcements. Does anybody else have any announcements?
August 10th, from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock at the Community Center, Senator Carlucci is going to be hosting a Immigration Know Your Rights Forum. Travel, this information, it's going to be fascinating in the arts room. So if you are interested in getting some information on that, you can come.
All right, fantastic. Okay.
And we'll move on to public comments on agenda items. Not seeing anyone. We'll go right into our agenda. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign an agreement between the town and Capital Market Advisors, LLC of Hopewell Junction, New York, for the provision of financial advisory services as described in their proposal dated September the 8th, 2016, for the term expiring December 31st, 2017.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, so this is, we go out for a ban. Our ban is callable, and then we roll it over into a new ban, and Capital Market Advisors consults us on this, and I'm not exactly sure why we're just finding out that we had been approached to sign this agreement, but it's okay. It looks good. We had our council review it, and hopefully we can get this on the agenda for next year's prior to September 8th of 2017. So all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Whereas on June 6, 2017, the Town Board of the Town of Ossining regretfully accepted the resignation of John Hamilton as part-time building inspector effective July 1st, 2017. And whereas in his capacity as part-time building inspector, John Hamilton also served as the town fire inspector. And whereas despite an exhaustive search, the town has not yet identified a suitable candidate to fill the roles of building inspector and fire inspector. And whereas John Hamilton has indicated that despite the fact that his resignation would be effective July 1st and 17 and performed until the town passed a resolution on July 5th, 2017, extending his appointment until July 31st, 2017, and it is the will of the board to extend his appointment for an additional month. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to enter into an agreement with John Hamilton to serve as part-time building inspector and perform fire inspector duties from August 1st, 2017, for a period of 1 month until August 31st, 2017, subject to approval by council to the town as to form.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, any discussion? We're working out an agreement we hope to have in place very soon so that we will have a new plan for September 1st. We're very grateful to John for staying with us for another month. He's been very helpful this last month, and I anticipate he will be just the same this next month. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? And, okay.
Resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining authorizes a budget adjustment for capital project 2014-5190 entitled Spray Park Recirculation, I can't even speak, of $196,197 for project implementation, increasing the project to $416,197 to be funded by a transfer from general fund balance. Increase 370, 7110, 200, 5190, $241,197 spray park recirculation expense. Increase 37, 50, 3100, 5190, $241,190 transfer from 9901, 905, $241,197 transfer to capital. An increase 1,060, 4795, $241,197 for the fund balance.
Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion? So this, again, this was, we had discussed this with Andy Teese back in a couple months ago, in May. Okay. And as we had discussed at the time, there were a number of expenses, and then as we found out subsequently, there were a couple of things that, this includes all of the work that had already been done. So there was electrical that had already been laid, as well as the proposal by the annual bidder to do the contracting work with specific pieces of equipment that were approved by the Westchester County Department of Health. And then there's a costs for some engineering and design to make sure that all of the follow-through is done with the Department of Health, and all of those pieces can be closed. And there was one more piece for about, I think, $1,500 to make sure that all of the grounding was in place, because nobody has been able to identify plans that exist yet for the original spray park. So as they, as they went through to find out exactly what has to be done for the recirculation, they also found that there were some things that hadn't been, some loose ends that were still left hanging open from the original spray park design. So this, also as we were applying to get the money from Senator, 100,000 was lined up, so we needed to approve the transfer from the general fund balance. And I know that Maddie had sent around an email last night to everybody with an explanation. This is going to have zero impact on our ultimately on our fund balance for the year, as well as it's going to basically extend by 1 year when we start to see the savings based on a very conservative estimate of how much we pay for water from the village.
Hey, Maddie.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
Can you talk to me about the payoff of the ban versus the thought process of when we will have received the payment back in terms of payoff? Just, if you can do that for me, that would be helpful.
Yeah, so this spreadsheet should be familiar to you. This is the same one that we did in May, but just the one thing that has changed is the number in the top left-hand corner in the 2018 column. We moved from 350 because that was the original price for the annual bidder to just drop the equipment.
Wait, where are we?
Upper right-hand corner, right under where it says 2018.
Upper right hand.
I'm sorry, upper left-hand corner.
I was like,
Yeah, sorry, nope.
I was like, wow, okay.
So 2018, the number that was just under the 2018 was 350
Oh, it's
because
the
that was the
three-
quote from our annual bidder. It's now 395, which, as the supervisor mentioned, encompasses the extra electrical work, engineering, so on and so forth. So to answer your question about paying off the ban, the first payment that was made was actually last year. So if you go down on the left-hand side to the second set of blocks, the first payment made was the 13,333. Along with the interest payment of the 1568. And what we had discussed back in May was that we would make only the 3 payments on the ban, and then we would just pay it out. So basically, we're going to be paying ourselves back instead of paying that $1,500, $2,000 worth of interest each year. So we're going to be paying that out of fund balance. So now, if you look at the bottom row that's in red,
But we were paying a ban on something that we had.
2015. So on the bottom row in red, all the way over to where it says GF repaid, meaning general fund repaid. So that's in the year 2029. Before we added this additional 45,000, it would have been repaid in 2028. But now that we've added an additional 45, we're going out 1 year.
So the ban is going to be paid in 2018,
Correct.
but we will have made our money
Paid ourselves back with
through
the savings
by 2029.
by 2029. And you can see that in the end of the first block in green.
And
You
in-
see in 2018, we start to turn green at 27,910. That's where we start to see water savings, but we're paying ourselves back with that savings until 2029, at which point it becomes profit, basically.
Okay. And in hope and theory, we're going to keep this recirculating system in such good shape that we will have, I mean, like anything else, you have to replace parts and things don't last forever, but that we're going to have this so that not just in 2029, but in 2050 when, who knows, or 2060 when I won't be here on the board at least, I don't, that we're going to, then it's always going to be profit. It will be this great thing.
For our
and
great-grandchildren.
For our great-grandchildren, and we will be saving water, and it's going to be a UV light that's going to make this recirculated water not disgusting, because I have heard that, and clean for children to play in. So for those reasons, I am going to vote yes on this, but I have to say, this is a lesson going forward for all boards in perpetuity. To know what it is that your project is, know as much as you can about how much something is going to actually cost, get all of those figures, and then go forward with the project. And I have to say, part of the only reason why I'm going to vote yes, other than all those great environmental things, $100,000 that really needs to be, which was given 2 to 3 years ago for a project that we thought
think
was told, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Was told was going to be $200,000. It's now 416. And so.
But it's not 550, which
Yeah,
is probably
no,
what it
but
would have been
that's-
if we had
but
gone through.
We can't, that for me, let's
Yeah.
just, you
No,
know,
but I mean,
just-
that's where it was a year ago, or when, at
Yeah.
least right when I started, there was a
And
bid
at
for
that point, we
450,000.
shouldn't have, we were saying we weren't gonna go through, and then we said, well, no, it's not 550, it's 350, and now we're back to 416.
Right, but we did, and we had already spent money on
Which
it.
we shouldn't have done.
Okay, again.
I'm just saying.
We're trying to-
saying
right. No, I
we're
know.
going to do this because it's good for the taxpayers, because we're gonna save
Ultimately,
money
it is.
ultimately for the water. I'm also saying this out there for a lot of people who do know and think this way. Like, why are we spending this kind of money for? And I'm really doing this on purpose to
Right.
kind of get through to how I got to this place, so that maybe other people will get to this place. It's good for our environment. It's going to be great for our great grandchildren. It's going to be there for a very long time.
And
It
ultimately,
is a
it pays for
service that
itself.
is utilized all the time. We might be able to extend hours.
Absolutely.
It will pay back, and all of those good things. And for those reasons.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstention? Wonderful. And thank you for articulating all those reasons, because I think it's, very true that people really do like to know, again, why are you spending this much money? And in the end, again, we believe we're going to be able to pay ourselves back, and it'll be a public benefit.
And water is only going to increase in terms of price.
Right.
So.
And this was, and again, this 2029,
Right.
not what we anticipate are going to be increases to the water rates.
Gotcha.
Might we have a motion for an adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? And we will see everybody next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock for a legislative session, but we're going to have a special work session. I'm getting a little confused since we did a special session today. So next week, we'll have a regular legislative session, but we will add the work session. I would like to actually adjourn the meeting with a moment of silence in honor of Michael Moran, who was a fire chief, and he was also the highway foreman for, I think, about 10 years. And we just learned that he passed this past Saturday, I believe. So if we could all just adjourn the meeting in his memory. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a nice week.